Welcome to the Haven Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders, owners, and professionals are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Hear from industry experts on everything from marketing, leadership, financing, and more. Brought to you by Haven, a co-working space where you can connect, create, and get stuff done.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Haven Hubcast. I'm your host, Nancy Sheed, and I'm going to just say giddy today to be speaking with Lila Sullivan. She is the president and co-founder of Flourish Plant. Welcome, Lila.
Thank you so much for having me, Nancy. Happy to be here.
As a Darien native, friend of Haven, you're sort of back in the area, having been in Austin with your pretty new company, right? Flourish Plant.
Yes. Yep.
Can we take it back a few years or more, as you just said? And was this something when you were in Darien High School thinking, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and a founder of a company? Like, what was going on back then?
Yes, I'm a Darien High School graduate. I graduated in 2013 from Darien High School. And I started my business, Flourish Plant, with my childhood best friend, Kate Ferguson, also a Darien native. We met probably in middle school, but we became dear friends at Darien High School when we were competing against each other in science fairs. We were a part of the ASR, Authentic Science Research program at Darien High School, 3 years intensive science research. And both of us, we often say, oh, we were the real science nerds back then. And she and I really bonded over our love of science, the programs that we were doing, everything that we were learning, the incredible teachers that we had there.
Wow.
I'll give shout outs to Mrs. Ruger and Mrs. Livingston, who just were incredible teachers and really satiated our desire to learn about science and research from a very young age. So incredible program. Both of us actually ended up studying abroad between our junior and senior years in high school for a summer. Kate was in Mexico and I was in London. Yes, from a young age, we were kind of getting everything we could out of the situation.
Holy moly. I thought you were going to say college. And I was like, high school. Okay, amazing.
No. So we both went and worked at research universities abroad before our senior year in high school. And for a few weeks, Kate was down in Mexico researching coral reefs, and I was in London researching the human diet. So yes, I mean, our love of plants, houseplants, the garden club from Darien High School definitely goes back a long way. Both of our parents are also amazing green thumbs. My mom really kind of outdoors, and Kate's both mom and dad, Wright and Kinsey, indoors. So our love of science goes back really far. We both went to different undergrad universities. I went to Colgate in upstate New York and got a bio degree, or a degree in biology and religion, actually. And Kate went to University of Texas, where she explored a little bit of everything. Texas is a great big school, an incredible city down in Austin, and she was surrounded by tons of very entrepreneurial people. One day when she was a senior, she was walking through the original Whole Foods, because Whole Foods is based down in Austin, Texas. Her plants at home were dying, and she had called her dad and said, Dad, what do I need to do to keep these plants alive? I keep killing them. I don't understand. They have good water. I'm giving them the right amount of light, I think. And he said, well, have you fertilized them recently? She said, no, I didn't really realize I needed to do that. And he said, go get some Miracle-Gro. And she said, Dad, have you read the news? I would never use a synthetic fertilizer product like that on my plants. It was kind of the age of the Roundup scandals. Really the start of us understanding some of the synthetic chemicals that are being used in agriculture, and understanding that Miracle-Gro, it's called Miracle-Gro for a reason, and it's because it's not made from natural substances.
If it sounds too good to be true, it is.
If it's bright blue, it's not for you. So she said, you know what, I'll just go look at Whole Foods, and I'll find something at Whole Foods. They have Mrs. Meyer's soap. They have every different flavor of yogurt from every producer in the world. They've got to have something to help me take care of my plants. So she went to that original Whole Foods where the headquarters is based. She walked through the store and she couldn't find any plant care products. She did find a lot of houseplants and beautiful plants. And it's also just an incredibly gorgeous store. You couldn't even believe Yeah, it's a bucket list Whole Foods for sure.
Okay.
The Lamar Whole Foods. And she couldn't find any fertilizers or products. And she just immediately thought to herself, I guess this is something I need to make. And that is when Flourish kind of was born in Kate's mind. We both graduated from our undergrad universities and had 5-year careers. I was an executive recruiter in New York City. By the end of my 5 years, I was working on consumer searches. So I was watching people build consumer businesses from the ground up, learning just so much about like what it really takes to find customers and create products that people love.
Just from their careers, literally just from, just from understanding their careers and what they did for a job. That's amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. I actually think that executive search and those roles that I had, I call it my mini MBA because I also worked on our private equity team as well. I had to spend my time really understanding how people pull different levers to create success in their businesses and then figure out if they would be a fit for, the next business that we were hiring for. And so they would tell me all about the different programs that they were running, ways that they made their business successful, how they really got certain products off the ground. I just learned from the best of the best, mostly
without
like
having
CEOs
to pay
and
for an
C-suite.
MBA and getting paid for it.
Without having to pay, I was getting paid for it. It was a lot of work.
Yes.
I felt very burnt out. I kind of mid-COVID, after a year and a half of doing that through COVID, I was kind of working around the clock and it stopped feeling like a good fit for me personally. Kate had told me about Flourish about a year and a half before, right before COVID, when our lives were moving so quickly. I can't even believe how much I could fit into a day back then.
Right.
And she told me about Flourish and I said, I just love his idea. I can't wait to do it one day. I don't think it's today. Fast forward a year and a half, I was feeling really burnt out. There are different glamorous ways to tell this story, and this is my version, not Kate's version, but I'll say I was feeling burnt out. I cried all weekend after working all weekend. And I said on Monday, I quit. I'm done with this. There's got to be something else out there for me. Maybe I'll go to business school or maybe I'll call Kate and see if she wants to start Flourish together. See if she still wants me as a part of this business. And that's what I did.
What's her version?
I think her version is that she was working. I mean, she had been working on Flourish, both in her mind and like online, starting to think about developing the product, thinking about what the brand would be in small ways for like 7 years. And that's part of why she brought me on as a partner. She's incredibly creative and she knew that her strength was that creativity and iterating and turning the wheel, but that she could use some support in execution of making the product and getting it to market. So when I called her and said, hey, I've quit, can we do Flourish full time? She was like, yeah, definitely. I'm going to need a few months before I can let go of my job. But she was working on Flourish part-time and I was working on it full-time. We decided to move down to Austin, Texas from New York City because we felt like it was an incredible entrepreneurial environment. Also, it was the end of COVID. It felt like a really good time to do something new. And we also knew that we needed to maybe have like a slightly less expensive lifestyle so that we could take the business a little further. So that was 3 years ago now. I moved down to Austin in 2021. I'd only been once before, so it was a huge move. I put my dog in my car and we drove down and
I love it.
It paid off in every single way that we could have imagined. Austin is and was an incredible home for our business, filled with just very entrepreneurial people, mostly technology folks, I would say, because there are some big tech businesses and exited tech businesses down there. So there's a lot more capital and mentorship for technology businesses, but it's really becoming a home base for consumer goods as well. I had a dear friend from college who started a business that they moved down there, Super Coffee, that's Jimmy DeChico, and Vital Farms Eggs, based in Austin, Texas. Okay. We love and they exited a few years ago, $1 billion IPO. So we always knew we wanted to connect with them. And now we have 2 of their founders on our cap table as investors and mentors. So, I mean, and then Austin is the home of Whole Foods as well. And our goal is always really to be a product that our consumers could like love and use and put out on their shelves, but also to be the type of product that could be carried at Whole Foods. We always had a vision of being an online and retail business. Anywhere where you can buy a plant, you should really be able to buy quality plant care products. And down in Austin, we found mentors, investors. We were listed on the Forbes 30 under 30 list for Austin 2 years ago. We have employees down in Austin. It's been an incredible journey. And I do want to talk a little bit more about the product itself and how we made it.
I'm like,
but now I'm back in Connecticut. So I'm happy to be back in the Northeast where my family is from. And yeah, Austin was a great piece of that journey.
I love that. So I'm going to take it back. I mean, you honored what I love to hear about partners is sort of knowing what your strengths are and what your, what one's weaknesses and strengths were. So at that point of like, yeah, and Kate needing a little bit of runway time to ramp up, how did you, Lila, like, do you have a playbook? Did you was there a playbook for you to start with to be like, this is what we have to do first. This is what we have to do second. This is what we have to do next. Was there a lot of like, all right, we're going to get in a room and just throw stuff on paper? Like, I just love to hear about those first days. Or, did Kate just have a running list of like, here's all the stuff I don't want to do. Or here's all the stuff I don't know how to do. Can you, I need help. What did that look like and feel like?
Yeah. So early days, quit my job. We started immediately, really. That was kind of in the spring of 2021. And we decided in the fall we'd move down to Austin. And so we started really, I think the first thing we did that was very helpful was that we called everyone that we knew that might know something about starting a business, a consumer business, fertilizer, where to go, and just like listened and took as much as we could from like those other people who had done it well before. I think that part of the early entrepreneurial days is taking a lot of advice from people who have done it before and trying to get that support. And in a conversation, you might not necessarily like glean something that's life-changing, but that person may know somebody who can change your life. And I think that is really like what we tried to do early days. Network a lot, let people know what we were doing, what we were excited about, what our vision was, which was to create a non-toxic, better for you houseplant fertilizer that was completely organic and easy to use inside. And Kate and I are not chemists by background. So, what we were thinking about the development of the product and then also getting the product to market and creating a brand and a business that was really strong. There was a lot that we had to learn in each of those categories. Business, the brand, the product. So we brought on advisors. We brought on people who knew what they were talking about. I networked back with folks from my undergrad university who were in the sciences. We brought on a scientific advisor who was a professor of mine at Colgate to help advise us on the formulation. We had to find suppliers for every piece of our product, from the formulation and what makes up the actual fertilizer, all the way through the packaging elements. We brought on our designers, who were a pair that did both web design and product design. And I would say that early days, and still to this day, actually, they have made some of the biggest difference in our business of anyone, because they really took Kate and I's ideas and visions and helped us bring them to life in a really meaningful way. So that was an expense in our early days, but now they have really become true partners to our business. We truly couldn't do it without that team. At the time, they were very young and just getting started like we were. So it was a great opportunity for both of us to take risks and bets on each other.
Yeah, but that balance of product and website, I mean, those do not always go hand in hand, right? Like somebody who's a digital designer versus somebody who's a product designer. Yeah. Those can sometimes compete in different spaces, right? Like, totally. That is amazing to have that combo.
It was. And also, I mean, in a lot of senses, it also kept our costs down to have to kind of design the UX of a website while not being able to code the back end also adds up over time, and you aren't able to get the same kind of functionality and design flow that you want. So that means that a lot of people end up going to work with these super expensive design houses who can do it all in-house, but then you're looking at usually triple to quadruple the price of just offshoring your back-end design. So there's a lot to take into account. We did a friends and family raise really early on. We raised for our business with like $5,000 to $10,000 checks. We were not taking salaries for a year and a half, almost 2 years, living off of our savings and working part-time. And we did everything in our power to try to build a business that could be profitable as quickly as possible. We really had an eye towards profitability. We knew we weren't going to be able to raise from VCs until we proved ourselves out a little bit. But we have also been through a lot of different stages of kind of an interesting like capital market for the past few years as well. So it's been an interesting challenge to see kind of the rise and fall of different fundraising trends. It has impacted our business.
Yeah.
You know, the way that we have grown and scaled has been directly correlated to how much money we're able to raise and make. But staying as close to profitability and being as scrappy and essentially bootstrapped as possible has been very important for us. So we developed that first product. It is still our core product, Flourish Organic Houseplant Fertilizer. We call it plant food. It is a 332 NPK organic fertilizer made from food waste, discards of industrial fishing and cornmeal production out on the West Coast. It's made in a 21-day heat and pressure digestion process that allows microbes to eat up basically these like full fish bones and parts that are left over after the fillets are taken off of the fish. And it creates this incredibly nutrient-rich and microbe-rich liquid concentrate fertilizer. The two ways that we sell it now are in 2-ounce bottle. And you make 8-ounce dilutions with that. So about a tablespoon goes into 8 ounces water. You use it to water your plants. And then it helps your plants grow from the soil and the roots all the way up. Our customers report seeing growth in about 2 weeks, or as little as 2 weeks, I should say. So that's leaf growth, better health of the plant, flowering if it's a flowering plant. And then we also sell in these single serve packets as well. So it's like a little liquid IV for your plant. We sell a little 5-pack of single serves, super easy to use. And we're just trying to get people to understand more about fertilizing. Our product is education heavy and focused, kind of targeted more at plant beginners right now. And so this specific product has taken us 2 years. We are about to start launching some additional SKUs and products, but plant food will always be our cornerstone product. It's also fragrant, so it's great for use inside. And it's exactly what we needed that we couldn't find. And
I love
turns
that.
out we are not the only ones. We have about 20, 30,000 customers at this point who love the product as well.
Is that B2C or is that, or do you count, sorry, and this is my lack of knowledge in the consumer space. When you say customers, do you count customers as the people using them in their house, or how do you qualify when you're going through Whole Foods?
Yeah, that's probably not an accurate number, I will say as well. So I'm talking probably more units.
Yes.
Probably individual bottles. So actually at this point, our business is probably only about 20 or 30% e-commerce. We launched e-commerce and pretty quickly realized that folks really wanted to buy our product in person. And we actually had a lot of inbound outreach from plant stores, where like small independent plant boutiques and even like garden centers were looking for products like ours. And we quickly pivoted to a wholesale oriented business about 6 months after launching. And we spent our 6-month mark to a year and a half selling into independent plant stores and garden centers. We're in about 250 across the country, and you can find them on our website. Yeah, on our website, we have a store locator. We love our indies. They have done an amazing job spreading the word about Flourish, sharing about our product. I
was going to ask you, how did they hear about you before they started being your ambassadors?
That's a great question. So we did some outreach to get to know a few folks in the space, and they're all very well connected. So if one great plant store in Dallas named the Plant Project really took us under her wing and started sharing about Flourish and selling Flourish, and folks started reaching out, we then decided to do the trade show circuit. So for 2 years, we went to about 15 trade shows. I'd never been to one before. And then all of a sudden, it's like my whole life. And that's really how we met kind of the rest of those independent retailers. They go to trade shows that are made specifically for, plant buying and accessories buying. And that's where they found us. And then also on Fair. Fair is a website where people do like wholesale purchasing for small stores. So we now have a strong presence on Fair. And we actually hired a community, our first hire. Her name is Ashley. She's incredible. She's in Austin. And her title is like a community manager. And so she like manages our community around independence a lot. We also just find them on Instagram. They have huge Instagram presences. So those have all been our channels for indies. After we hit about 150 indies and we were growing pretty significantly, I would say that year we probably had like 200 or 300% growth in the business. I won a pitch contest down in Austin with the Naturally Network. And in the audience was the founder of Vital Farms, one of the senior vice presidents at Whole Foods, ton of angel investors. It's just a ton of incredible people. I'll highlight those two because the founder of Vital Farms, the founding president of Vital Farms, Jason Jones, became an advisor to us. He was really like a category creator, what we call a category creator in terms of like eggs. So Vital Farms really brought farm fresh eggs to your local supermarket. And that was a big distribution play. It was all about how do we get farm fresh eggs from farms to supermarkets. So he became an advisor of ours. And then Whole Foods, we began the conversation with a handful of different team members at Whole Foods who we got to know, who became friends and mentors to us.
Nice.
And it took about 6 months, but we were eventually introduced to our buyer for our category, which is the floral category. Another 6 months it took to solidify what kind of a launch with them would look like. And in March of 2024, we launched our bottle of plant food in 35 stores in Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. And then in September of 2024, so just a few months ago, we launched in an additional 270 doors down the East Coast and across into Texas. So we're now in about 300 Whole Foods.
So exciting.
Yes. Yeah. That has been great growth. And really the next place for us to grow into, we have launched on Amazon in the past year. So that will be an exciting channel for us. It's already proven to be a wonderful channel for growth, but challenging because you have to balance your ad spend with getting visibility on your product with the cost of that channel. So we're excited about that as an opportunity to find customers who are looking up fertilizer products, really discovery channel. And then we're going to continue to grow in grocery as well. You know, what I said in the beginning, we've always wanted to be a brand that creates better for you plant care products. You should be able to buy better for you plant care products wherever you can buy a plant. So our fertilizer product is the perfect add-on at a grocery store where you're buying a house plant. And it really helps people be more successful with their plants, find more joy in plant care, whether it's indoors or eventually outdoors for our business as well. So really excited about continuing to grow in that space and getting the word out there.
I love it. I feel like, Lila, we could talk for hours. I feel like you could actually teach an entrepreneurship course. Holy moly.
You're so sweet.
This is so exciting. And I love your journey of sort of like, we just did it. I guess my last question, before you wrap up would be, what was either your biggest surprise or what do you wish you knew if what would you tell the Lila who was calling Katie and like, I'm coming? What do you know now that you would have wished you could have told her then?
I think 2 things. The first is that building a business, a strong business, takes time. There are no shortcuts. And a lot of people will have opinions about what you should be doing and what they think those shortcuts should be. But, my second piece of advice is that as an entrepreneur, somebody who's interested in starting a business and has a vision and perspective of their own, you have to learn how to stay true to the vision and perspective that you and your internal people have. And that can be really hard. learning how to kind of suss out the great advice from the advice that you might not take today, and learning how to communicate that with people, figuring out how to grow, like that is some of the most challenging piece because you cannot do everything.
Yeah.
You can only grow in so many channels at a time. You can only have so many products at a time. You only have so much money, and that is how you have to figure out how to balance your resources, and your time is a resource as well. So I think, my two biggest pieces of advice are that you need to have patience, but there's a difference between patience and just waiting. Like it's an active patience. You have to be action oriented, but it's just going to take more time. I thought when I quit my job in May that I would be launching a product in Whole Foods in October. I'm launching a product in Whole Foods 3 Octobers later.
I know, but you also took a long time. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, look at what you've accomplished in 3 years, right?
Thank you.
So
yes. And the time flies.
Exactly. It's all relative. Yeah. Well, we're going to be watching, as your friends at Haven are going to be watching and keeping an eye on the growth, no pun intended, of Flourish Plant and how you and Katie are moving forward. Congratulations on all you've achieved.
Thank you.
And if people are interested, whether either learning more about like your journey or your growth or investing or just being a fan, what's the best way to reach you?
Sure. So you can find Flourish on our website, flourishplant.com. You can also purchase Flourish on Amazon. If you look up Flourish Plant Food or Organic Houseplant Fertilizer, you should be able to find us pretty easily that way. If you'd like to reach out, you can reach us at hello@flourishplant.com.
Awesome.
We're on Instagram at Flourish Plant. We're on TikTok at Flourish Plant. I have a TikTok, Lila Reed Sullivan. So we're pretty easy to find. Feel free to reach out on LinkedIn, of course, as well. But I'm very grateful for this community and all the support it has given us. And just the incredible folks that we have in our community. We really couldn't do it without them. So thank you.
Well, I'm excited to be a new member of that community and have really enjoyed hearing about your journey. Thanks for your time. And that's another episode of the Haven Hubcast. If you like what you hear, please leave a review, share this podcast with others, and please consider subscribing on your favorite platform.
Thanks for listening to the Haven Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders and owners are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Haven is a co-working space and virtual community located in the heart of Fairfield County, Connecticut. Haven is a hub for business owners and professionals to connect, create, and get stuff done. Find out more about the Haven community online at haven.com. That's HAYVN.com. Haven Hubcast is produced by Sound Advice Strategies.